So hi everyone, I'm Lisa Worth-Huber, and I have a little opening here for everyone. We've come together to celebrate President's Day, to celebrate the presidents who have inspired us by their leadership to reach for the highest visions of freedom, equality, justice, innovation, and inclusion. President's Day began as an unofficial holiday on George Washington's birthday, February 22nd in 1800, just 2 months after Washington's death. It didn't become a federal holiday until 1879, when President Rutherford B. Hayes signed it into law. What began as a day to honor our founding president then moved to include our 2 February-born presidents, Washington and Lincoln. And now, thanks to Lisa Boignet and her creative vision, we have transformed our celebration into my favorite President's Day. Presidents have changed the course of history in ways that still affect us today. Consider President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, an executive order claiming the freedom of slaves in 10 states, and his establishment of the U.S. Department of Agriculture. President Theodore Roosevelt lobbied Congress for wilderness protection and created the first U.S. Forest Service, 50 wildlife refuge areas, and 5 national parks. Franklin Roosevelt's articulation of the 4 freedoms: freedom of speech and expression, freedom of worship, freedom from want, and freedom from fear. President Dwight Eisenhower's signing of the Refugee Relief Act, admitting 214,000 more immigrants than had been permitted under existing immigration quotas. President John F. Kennedy's pledge of support to the space program, landing the first person on the moon. President Lyndon Johnson signing into law both the monumental Civil Rights Act and Voting Rights Act. After 20 million people took to the streets around the globe on Earth Day in 1970, President Richard Nixon responded by signing the bills to establish both the Environmental Protection Agency and the Endangered Species Act. President Carter's signing of the Camp David Peace Accords and the creation of the Department of Energy to promote clean and alternative fuels. And President Obama's signing of the Hate Crimes Prevention Act, increase of the Veterans Affairs budget and the new GI tuition assistance bill, his support of LGBTQ rights, and the creation of the Affordable Care Act. Each of us and our planet are better served thanks to their leadership. I want to pause and reflect personally on the fact that I thought today I would be celebrating our first woman president and former First Lady. I am reminded of the strength, wisdom, and influence of our First Ladies and their indelible imprint on our society and the world at large. Today, as we honor our favorite presidents, I'd also like to highlight a few of the lasting gifts from our First Ladies as well. Shout out of thanks to Abigail Fillmore, who turned her passion for learning into creating the White House Library. There had been no library up to that point because Congress feared it would make the president too powerful. Congress relented in 1850, and Abigail got to work. Gratitude to Eleanor Roosevelt, one of my great sheroes, an astonishing First Lady who fought for New Deal proposals and civil rights and believed education and equal opportunity should be granted to all. She helped draft the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, a document I believe everyone needs to read and live by, and was the first chair of the United Nations Human Rights Commission. Shout out of thanks to First Lady Betty Ford, who was a major advocate for the Equal Rights Amendment and the legislation for a woman's right to choose. Thank you to Rosalind Carter, an advocate for mental health, who became the honorary chair of the President's Commission on Mental Health. Thank you to Hillary Clinton, who was involved in directing policy and headed the Task Force for National Health Care Reform. After leaving the White House as First Lady, she became a senator and President Obama's Secretary of State. She also was the first female presidential nominee of a major political party. And gratitude to Michelle Obama, who launched Let's Move, a nationwide effort to solve childhood obesity, who promoted the school lunch program with bipartisan support, providing free and reduced price meals to more than 21 million low-income children, who launched the Reach Higher initiative to inspire young people to complete their education past high school, and created Let Girls Learn to help girls around the world go to school and stay in school. Thank you, First Ladies. You too have made a lasting difference. Looking at the timeline of the 45 US presidents, we are reminded that some of our political actions move through many presidencies before they are enshrined in law. Women actively campaigned through 9 presidencies before the 19th Amendment granted them the right to vote. For over a century, after 5 presidents failed to create universal health insurance, President Obama signed into law the Affordable Care Act in 2010. This reminds us that sometimes one president plants the seed of a great vision during his or her time in the Oval Office, only for it to lie dormant for generations before it once again is nurtured by future presidents. Such is the story of the National Peace Academy, for which I have the honor to serve as chair of the board of directors. It is a perfect example of this process of a presidential dream through time. Our founding father, President George Washington, expressed the need for an academy to train citizens for peace as rigorously as the military academy trained citizens for war. Washington planted the seed of an idea for a National Peace Academy back in the late 1700s. However, it wasn't until almost 200 years later, in the 1960s and 70s, that a series of bipartisan bills introduced in Congress called for a National Peace Academy. In 1978, President Carter and Congress established the Commission for the National Peace Academy, and for 2 years, the Commission conducted town hall meetings throughout the United States. Based upon citizen feedback, it was recommended the President and the Congress of the United States of America establish the National Peace Academy. Progress was made, but when Carter left office, the political focus on a National Peace Academy faded. Fast forward now to 2009. A group of citizens came together and founded the National Peace Academy as a nonprofit. Through a partnership with George Mason University School for Conflict Analysis and Resolution, last April 2016, we broke ground to begin building President George Washington and President Jimmy Carter's dream. The National Peace Academy's work will help communities beset by violence to discover ways to come together through community dialogue, conflict resolution, restorative justice, and empathy development to begin healing the conflicts and divisions within our society. This is an example of how one president's vision might take centuries, several presidencies, and the perseverance of we the people before it is actually fulfilled. For the past 2 weeks, I've been asking people, from students in my sociology classes at WestConn to strangers in the checkout line at the grocery store, what they think are the most important characteristics for the President of the United States. Well, you might imagine some of the responses have been unexpected, such as the President should play a musical instrument or have some personal connection with the arts. There were several presidential characteristics, however, that everyone, regardless of political affiliation, thought vital to a great leader and the President of the United States. Here are those 6 qualities. Is intelligent, communicates often with the people and listens well, possesses the qualities of empathy and humanity, is cool under pressure, openly admits mistakes, is honest and transparent with the people. Most importantly, everyone agreed it is our president's duty to ensure, as Lincoln so eloquently articulated, that this precious government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. So, now the day has come for we the people to express our gratitude for the presidents who have inspired us, the presidents who exhibited qualities we cherish, the presidents who have shown us how to handle crisis and adversity, who care about the people, who hold the ideals of our Constitution and the fair and open process of democracy. So hail to the chief, and happy my favorite President's Day. Thank you.